We're learning more about the Minnesota cop who fatally shot a 20-year-old black man during a traffic stop in what the police chief called an accidental discharge. Officer Kim Potter, a 26-year veteran of the Brooklyn Center Police Department, resigned this morning after mistaking her firearm for her taser when she shot Dante Wright on Sunday, saying she believes it is in the best interest of the community to leave the department immediately. The graphic body cam footage opened up a new discussion on police training reform. Dana Loesch, host of The Dana Show and somebody who really understands firearms inside and out, joins me on the way in. Dana, great to see you.
Good to see you, Buck.
So this does seem like a terrible accident. We have people, including the governor of Minnesota, talking about how there needs to be police training. But let's get into this a little bit. I mean, what kind of training could there be to help differentiate taser from firearm? This kind of incident happened before. And also, should we just be prepared for the training to be federal oversight of law enforcement looking for racial bias? I mean, it strikes me as the training issue is really always just a politicized issue when it gets talked about at this level. What do you see here?
No, I think that's exactly right. Everyone always talks about training, Buck, for law enforcement, but then that kind of goes away, and then we're back to defunding the police, which I might add, I don't know how far it's gone in Minnesota. I know Minneapolis, their city council made some moves to defund the police, but I don't know if that's actually come into effect yet or not. But in this particular situation, you should be able to tell the difference between a taser and your Glock. You should absolutely be able to. And so when I was watching this and I looked at the video and I was, stopping it like frame by frame, the moment that I could actually see something. And I noticed that there are two things that I noticed. First off, Buck, I noticed that all the other officers, they were all carrying their tasers on their non-dominant side. They all had their handguns on their dominant side, their tasers, which had the yellow grip, on the non-dominant side. And none of the other officers, at least from what I saw in the video, and this is just going off of this, the video footage and stopping and starting, I didn't see any other officer that had their firearm drawn as well. Now, this particular officer, Officer Kim Potter, who you said has been serving for 26 years now, she was yelling taser, taser, but then went for her handgun on her dominant side, which then makes me wonder, first off, how long has she carried a taser? How long has that been department policy? The second thing is, how much training have they received? Have they done force on force? Have they done, what kind of, reactionary discernment, all of that, de-escalation? Because, there's a lot to get into here. And clearly I understand that duress comes into it, Buck. But the big thing is that you never rise to the occasion. You always fall back on your highest level of training, especially when you get into that fight or flight mode. I was just talking about this on my radio program with my friend Jared Ogden, who's retired Navy SEAL, and he's gone around the country doing this exact thing, training police with de-escalation, discernment, everything to avoid a situation like that. Now, of course, every officer, they don't know what they're going to walk into these situations. You have millions of engagements like this a year, and thankfully these situations are rare, but you still want to prevent them.
Well, given how rare it is, Dana, is there even really a realistic training regime? I mean, as you point out, most officers, and clearly based on the numbers of how often this kind of a tragic accident happens of the taser firearm mix, most officers do tell the difference between these things. Some people I know will carry the taser in a chest rig, which separates it from where they keep their pistol, maybe that being more standard. But it doesn't seem to me like there's really going to be any kind of change in police training nationwide that would be a useful means of resources. Go ahead.
Nationwide, people this. I'm very hesitant with, and I think you hit up on a good point, I'm very hesitant with any move towards nationalizing the police force, which I feel like Democrats, with every single one of these awful tragedies that take place, they get more and more, pushed towards. But in this particular situation, I'd rather an officer have the skills and not need them than need them and not have them. Because two things: don't resist arrest, number one, especially for a felony warrant for an illegally possessed firearm when you're 20 years old. And the second thing is that, if you're backup, be backup and make sure that you have the training. A lot of this comes down to training and also following the law, not resisting arrest. And you're going to have another town that's going to burn. You're going to have another nation that's going to be gearing towards, or our nation here another summer gearing towards a season of riots again, based upon something like this.